friends and strangers, I am back again with more mistakes that I have made which pertain to being an up-and-coming musician. I'm going to teach you through experience how not to fail in the same ways that I have failed in the past. This is actually going to be several mistakes that I've made, all kind of under the umbrella of the same topic, which is the fact that people have very short attention spans. So we need to keep things simpler. We need to keep things more direct and to the point. There's a few ways we're going to approach this subject. One way is through the songwriting end of things, and then another way is through the marketing ends of things, or even just any sort of social media that you do that is related to your band or your music project. So one of the first things you can do is when you're posting about your music online, you can use previews instead of posting the entire song. The music that I tend to write tends to have longer atmospheric build-ups, longer sections of the song that don't have a lot of exciting things happening, and that's fine. It all depends on what genre you're playing. We don't all play pop music. We don't all have music that is full of hooks that we can give people right from the get-go. So we use a preview instead. You need to hook them instantly or you'll lose them forever. So go ahead and edit your song down to about 30 seconds to a minute long and pick the most exciting chunk of the song that you have and give that to the people first. Put that up on your timeline. And actually, as it stands, Instagram won't let you do anything longer than a minute long for your post anyway. So that's a good way to get started. Your Instagram videos are going to need to be a condensed down version of your song anyway. So get used to picking the most exciting part of the song, the most exciting minute or 30 seconds, and package that up as your post. Get to the point right away. And of course, also in the comments for that post, you can put a link to the whole song, you can put a link to the whole album, wherever you want to direct this traffic after you hook them in with that original blurb of your song. Then you show them the way to go from there. But first you have to draw them in, first you have to hook them. Moving on. So on the songwriting ends of things, depending on your genre, this might be the exact opposite of what you're going for, right? But the sad truth is that most internet strangers will skip your song long before the 1 minute mark. So again, if the intro is taking up most of that time, if it doesn't represent like the meat and potatoes main part of the song, and it's kind of slow and building into something else, building into a change later, it is more than likely that your listener will skip before it reaches that cool, exciting change. And they will never know what your song is all about. They will completely miss the point of all of the careful composition that you put so much effort into doing. So for me, in my songwriting, I think it's important to keep those impactful changes and those hook moments coming at a rapid-fire succession. Always keep your listeners' ears guessing. Always be subverting their expectations. Never give them a chance to get bored and click away. Always have some kind of ear candy kind of moment that's happening, whatever part of your song it is. So on the promotion side of things, we want to be consistent and we want to be persistent. If you post about your gig or your album release or what have you just one time, and then you get mad when no one shows up to your event or no one buys your album, then you kind of have unrealistic expectations of how the whole online promotion thing works. See, your posts probably aren't reaching as many people as you think they are due to the algorithm on whatever platform it is that you promote your stuff on. For example, I have hundreds of Facebook friends, but I only ever see posts from a rotation of about 50 people or so ever come across my timeline. So if your band page is not in someone's rotation of 50 people or so who usually show up on their timeline, you are never reaching out of that bubble, or you're barely reaching out of that bubble. I can't say exactly how it works, and I don't think that anybody knows exactly how the algorithm of anything works except for the people who wrote the algorithm. So this is all a little bit of guesswork, a little bit of educated guesswork. But if you pay attention to your feed, or if you watch some other videos about internet marketing, then you'll see that I'm right. So what can we do to combat that? What can we do to get more people seeing our posts without having to pay for advertising or anything like that? Well, we can go and we can post a story. For some reason, your Facebook or Instagram stories that appear at the top of the page, they get higher priority by the algorithm. So if I post my song on my timeline, I might get 10 to 20 views. I might get 3 to 4 likes. It's not very good. But if I go and post it on my story instead, then it will usually be about 3 to 4 times that many people who have viewed my story by the time 24 hours are up. And another way that you can combat the algorithm and get your stuff out to more people is to go live. Now, I know this doesn't work for everybody. It certainly doesn't work for me in my area. See, I live in this very tiny coastal beach town out on the Washington coast, and we only have one internet service provider for the whole area, and their service speeds are very slow. Even if you pay for the most high-speed option, you still get barely enough connection speed to do anything with, let alone to stream. So if I try to stream from my house, using my hardwired Ethernet cable directly into my computer even, it just doesn't work. But if you are in an area where you have good connection speed, or you can go somewhere else to a different location to do a live stream from, that's going to get you a lot more eyes and ears on your music as well, rather than just posting it to your Facebook feed directly, or whatever platform you use. So another important thing to note too is that the people who do see your posts, they all are out there living their own busy lives too. So maybe your friend saw your link while he was standing in line at the store, right? Like, you're not going to sit there and listen to your buddy's 3.5 minute long song and rock out to it while you're standing in line at the Albertsons or something, right? So a lot of people who do see your post probably have every intention of checking it out and getting really into it, but then by the time they get home and then they have all these other things to do, maybe it gets lost in the shuffle. Maybe they just forget about it after they saw it that one time. So one time is not enough. I've heard it said in my research about advertising that you have to put the same ad in front of the same person about 10 times or more before that person will actually click on your ad. So the same principle can and should be used by you while you are promoting your music as well. Now, I know a lot of you can be embarrassed, or you're worried about bothering your friends and family on your timeline with your excessive posting about your music. If you get any complainers, then remind them that they can still unfollow you while still being your friend. Or they could choose to see fewer posts that are like your music posts. There's a little menu that you can click on the corner. I'm talking about Facebook here, right? In Facebook, you can deprioritize posts that are like your post, if that makes sense, right? But it's in the drop-down menu. And I don't have any experience on Twitter. I have a little bit of experience on Instagram. I think that most platforms have a feature that's like this. So I just figured that my friends and followers who are down with supporting me and my music are going to be there. They're going to be interacting with my posts. And all the people who are bothered by my constant music posting, or all the people who don't really care about it, they're going to be long gone. They're going to be ignoring everything you post, or they're going to be unfollowed already. And that's not a bad thing. You shouldn't be upset about it, or you shouldn't be mad at anybody on your friends list for unfollowing. You know, everybody is entitled to like what they like, and everybody's entitled to want what they want on their timeline. It's not that big of a deal, right? So with this knowledge in your pocket, you can carry on filling up the internet with all of the band-related posts that you want to. And you can be confident that you aren't ruining anyone's day. I mean, all I really have to do is just scroll past anyway. Your posts are not hurting anyone at all, even if you're posting very often. So do try to change it up. Do try to call out special posts that are very noteworthy, because it's easy for the bigger things and your bigger releases to be lost in the shuffle with your constant sea of new content that you're putting out there. So how often you do it is up to you. Every day is really probably the best way to go about it if you really want to succeed at growing an audience and you want to do this the right way that you're supposed to do it. So I try to do weekly for my videos, with one week being a performance of a song, and then the next week being some sort of educational content. And then if I have extra content to put out between that in the middle of the week, then I will also do that too. So my content's coming in about twice weekly right now, and I really feel like that is not often enough. Maybe that's often enough for video content, but as far as posting goes, I don't think so. So that's my challenge for myself, and my challenge to you is to post more often to your social media about your music. Post more stuff, get more followers, build that audience. So if it weren't 2021 right now, and if gigs were happening as usual, this is how I would go about promoting my gig, how often I would post about it. First, I would shout out about the gig as soon as the promoter gives me the go-ahead and as soon as I have enough details, like what venue it's going to be, what date, what time, who the other bands are, or at least who the headliners are. As soon as you have that information, do an announcement. Even if you don't have a flyer or an event page set up yet. As soon as you get the go-ahead from the promoter, you announce the show. Then about a month before the gig, I will post again. Hopefully you're booking longer than a month out. I feel like anything less than that is not enough time for you to properly promote an event. I see it happening all the time. I see people's events getting poor turnouts all the time. Make the plan in advance. Give yourself enough time to make it a good event. I digress. So you post about your gig again a month before the gig, and then you keep posting about it weekly until the gig happens. In the last week of that before the gig, I will start posting a lot more aggressively about it. Probably even every day, at least for the few days up to the gig. In fact, even sometimes on the day of the gig, I will post multiple times, especially if I feel the attendance might be low that night. I'll just try to stir up as much excitement as I can. Roll out of bed in the morning, first thing you do, grab your phone, you post, gig today, so excited. Here's where it's going to go down. Here's what time. So when the afternoon comes around, then you post a picture of the back of your van, be like, got all my gear loaded up, Olympia, here we come. And then when you get there, when you arrive, you post again. Just got to the venue, guys. Doors are about to open soon. Super excited, can't wait. So just get a few reminders out there. There's lots of people within your social media who want to see you perform, but they space it on the day when the event happens, or they can't make it due to poor time management skills. So while you're at the gig, take pictures. Take pictures of everybody having fun. Take a little snippet of the band playing, post that. Talk about who's there, who's playing, which bands are awesome, which bands you're looking forward to seeing later in the night. This will hook all the people who chose to pass on the show that night. It will hopefully hook them in for next time if they see how much fun everybody is having at your show and how good of a crowd and a turnout hopefully you have. Then they will be super stoked for the next show. It's another interesting side note about taking the pictures while you're at your gig. If you don't have a very good turnout that night, don't take your video or your picture from the back of the house where you can see the big, wide, empty floor. If there's not that many people in attendance, get up closer to the band before you take pictures. See if you can get just that front row of people who are really into it and the band playing. See if you can just frame that shot so it doesn't look like there's an empty house behind all those people, right? That's just another promotion trick that you get thrown in there for free this time. Anyway, carrying on. So that's the whole name of the game, is just capturing people's attention and holding them there. People are like little goldfishes. They'll forget about everything and swim away if you don't keep them there somehow.
Well, actually, it's been proven that goldfish actually don't have short memories, so,
I know, I get it, but just go with me on the classic cliche metaphor here. So I know a lot of this was basically just me going on a long tangent about marketing and promotion, but it's a good subject when it comes to our beloved listeners and their woefully short attention spans, to know how to deal with that, how to cater to that without getting frustrated, and while still getting your music out there to the people that you want it to reach. So we'll just summarize here really quick. Always be thinking of ways that you can streamline your presentation. Cut out all the fluff and the padding that you can. Really utilize those few seconds or hopefully minutes that the eyes of a potential fan are on you. Treat everything as if you only have 3 seconds to set the hook and reel them in, because in a lot of cases, that's literally all the time that you have before a random stranger on the internet will lose interest and carry on and will never see you again. The rate at which people are consuming media these days has grown to frightening proportions. So you really have to fight for people's attention, what little bit of it they're willing to give. I think I heard a statistic where there's some 4,000 more than that songs a day being uploaded to Spotify alone, and definitely correct me if I'm wrong there. I'm just kind of spewing out random statistics here to back up my point. But the point is, the market is very, very oversaturated. You, as a writer of original music, your talents are not in very high demand. So you have to make extra sure that you stand out from the crowd, that you're doing something exciting, that you're hooking people and drawing them in. That's all for this time, folks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around here to the end with me. So I ask that you please like and subscribe and turn on notifications and all that good stuff, and I hope you all have fun out there.